So as the user keeps moving and feeds more and more information about the surroundings from the camera, ARKit is going to update the anchors. And from that, we can then update the size of our planes. So let's create a new function. It's going to be from the renderer again. So renderer, and here you see we've got did update node. So it's pretty much the same as what we had before. The only difference is did add and did update. So this node here and this node there are the same. And what we can do now is to look inside of this node if we have a plane. Now, one very simple, quick way to do this is to have name for our plane node. So plane node dot name equals, and I'm going to call this AR plane. Okay, so in here we still need to do the same things that we've done before. So first of all, we'll make sure that the anchor is a plane anchor, and then we'll get the extent from that to update the geometry of our plane. So we can copy and paste that. Then here we've created a plane geometry, so let's just do that again. Actually, this time I'm going to call this geometry. And so I want to assign this new geometry to this plane node that already existed. So I can now go and look inside of the node here and look for a child node with name. And here I can just pass the string that I created earlier, so my AR plane. And I know that now I will be able to access this plane node. So recursively false. And here, so this is going to be let plane node equals this AR plane. And we can say that the plane node, its geometry is going to be the plane, the newly created plane geometry. Okay, so just a few lines of code to update this geometry, and let's see how this looks. Okay, so if I start moving around, you can see that we now have this plane and under here as well. So if I keep going here, you can see that the plane is updating, but it just looks wrong. There's something that's just not going, that's just not happening. So the problem we have here is that you can see this anchor is still the center of this plane. However, the plane is not in the correct place. The center has moved, but we haven't moved the center of that plane. Also, this plane is completely white and I can't see anything behind or under it. So the first thing I want to do is to change this geometry. So actually, let's just go back here. And this plane geometry's first material, diffuse contents. Here I'm going to pass a UI color that's going to be white, but I'm going to do with alpha component. And here the alpha is basically going to give me the transparency, so I'll just do a 0.5. So now it's going to be 50% transparent white. Okay, so that's all we needed for the first problem we had. Now the second problem we have is about the center. For the center, here we are going, we get the extent of our plane anchor, but we can also get the center of it. So if I look for a let center, so I create a center from our plane anchor, and here you can see that I've got same again as I had the extent. Now I've got the center of it. And if you inspect and read this, it's full of really good information about how ARKit works. But basically, this is telling us that the anchor might not move, but the center of that plane may move. So we need to update the position of our plane node here. So now that we have the center, it's going to be very easy. We just call our plane node and we set its position. So we are going to recenter its position with the plane anchor dot center here. However, this position here is an SCN. Let's have a look. Build. Okay, so if I show a quick help, you can see that this is an SCN vector 3, right? However, the center that we just had here is a vector float 3. That's not the same thing, unfortunately. So I'm just going to make an SCN vector 3 make. Okay, and here I can pass my center dot x. This is going to be 0. You can put center dot y if you want, but it's just going to be a 0 anyway. And for the z, we'll just do a center dot z. Okay, so this should be good to go. Let's run and see how it looks. So I start moving around and you can see how now this is trying to get as accurate as possible. The more information I give, the more this is getting accurate. And now you can see how the anchor that we added at first is not in the middle of this plane anymore. Same for this one. And I like the transparency because you can tell now that this anchor, the floor anchor, is below, is under the bar anchor. Okay, so this is really good. So now that we have that, well, I will let you play around. I think it's it's quite nice actually to go around and see what your ARKit is going to recognize. So if I look at vertical planes, this should work. How about you? Yes, so that works really good. That doesn't work. I understand that when we have reflections, you can see my hand there, ARKit gets really confused with that. It will not understand white walls or mirrors and stuff like this. So yeah, you can see me here, which means that ARKit is not going to see and understand that is a vertical plane. Right. Okay, so let's move on to the next step.